Hello, namaskar, namaskara, namaskaram, namaskar. My name is Pooja Dwivedi. Welcome to my class. Just few days ago, I covered an unfortunate incident, the incident of earthquake in Morocco. Now, unfortunately, I'm covering the floods in Libya. The nature doesn't seem to agree with North Africa. From the perspective of GS Mains paper first, as well as from the perspective of GS Mains paper second, it is important for us to understand the situation in Libya from nature's perspective, the climate change perspective, and also from the perspective of the political chaos that is going on in Libya. Do you know that there are two prime ministers over there and how they left the people to collapse and die? So let's move ahead. Without any further delay, I would like to tell you that please do not make notes because this PDF will be provided to you through my Telegram channel that is by the name of Pooja Dwivedi UPSC. If you have any queries regarding this examination, you can also talk to me on my Instagram and follow me on Threads. The P2I batches have already been launched from 11th of September. Make sure you take admission as soon as possible. The code is PD Live. Not only GS for prelims, mains and interviews, but also CSAT, ethics, essay, language paper, study materials, prelims test series, mains test series. Everything is covered. Even a mains residential program is also there. So make sure you use PD Live and get it at 29,999 only. It's also applicable to other courses. Now, first of all, let's break down what has happened, how it all started. Few weeks ago, a storm started developing in the Mediterranean Sea. It started moving towards the west. Of course, while its journey, the storm Daniel, as it is named, has harmed many cities in many areas, in many countries. Greece, Bulgaria, and now when it made a landfall in Libya, it wiped off the population of Derna and many other cities it has harmed. So, this storm Daniel that has formed, it has formed as a medicane. What is a medicane? The hurricane which is formed in the Mediterranean Sea is known as medicane. However, we do not have an internationally accepted definition of it, but still, medicanes are generally referred to the hurricanes that are produced in the Mediterranean Sea. And while it is moving, it is right now going towards Israel. It has already flooded the many regions of Greece, Bulgaria, Libya. Now it is moving towards Israel. So this is the path. You see, Benghazi, where a lot of damage has been registered. Also, Tripoli has been affected by it. There are many other cities that have been affected by storm Daniels. Okay, so this is the country of Libya that we are talking about. Generally, why do we have Libya in the news? Because migrants move through the Mediterranean Sea to reach Europe for better life, better prospects. So migrant smuggling is one of the things. Second is the militancy and the all-out war that occurs in Libya because of the political instability. This instability is the gift of the West. After toppling of the Gaddafi government, a power vacuum was created, and whenever there is a power vacuum, militants will rise. So ISIS also had a background in Libya. So you see, Libya, of course, has two things. First, the nature's fury, the harsh realities of the climate change, and the political instability. We will go through both of them. So Daniel formed as a low pressure weather system more than a week ago. And when it was encountered by a high pressure system, it got blocked. It made a landfall in Libya, and so many cities have been affected, specifically Derna, Suez, Beda, Al-Marj, Benghazi. And these areas have seen populations being wiped away. The devastation is really huge because it is most of the areas that I'm talking about is surrounded by mountains. So flash floods were quick to be there. And because of that, dams also got burst. And when dams got burst, the deluge was much more profound. Most of the people, because of their European dream, they live in the coastal areas. And that is why the devastation is so high. The infrastructure hasn't been developed. I will get into that as well. So let's move ahead. It's a medicane. Medicane forms once or twice a year in the Mediterranean Sea. As you can see, it forms over here, and it generally most commonly occurs from the months from September to January. It's not a true hurricane. Why? Because it just needs about 50 degrees Celsius to develop, while we know that hurricanes take much higher levels much higher temperatures to form, about 26 degrees Celsius. Also, it is different from hurricanes, that hurricanes are formed anywhere, but if we talk about medicanes, they are specific to the Mediterranean Sea. So they can reach hurricane strength on very rare occasion. Storm Daniels, I have already told you that with it carried heavy rainfall because of the high water retaining capacity of the atmosphere. Heavy rainfall also occurred with storm. And the port city of Derna, it bore the most brunt. So you see that there were two dams that also burst, and these were created a long period of time ago. These were not developed properly, these were not taken care of properly. So when that happened, of course, it added to all the problems. The river Derna also got deluged and added to all the problems. So you see, Derna has a population of 1 lakh. Dam 2 collapses, Dam 1 collapses. Wadi Derna river had these dams, and the people were stuck between the Mediterranean Sea and the deluge. Moving on. Now I talk about the divisive governments that are running the country of Libya. There are two prime ministers. One prime minister which is backed internationally, we can say it is an internationally recognized government. It works from Tripoli. And the one that is that is anti-Tripoli, that works from Benghazi. Benghazi and the Tripoli government, they work differently. They do not coordinate. Given these two, there are other added problems, that is the militias. Small militias, small groups, which have their own aims and ambitions to reach. So, the political chaos over there and the entrenchment of the international powers who are working there, many international governments are also in the matter. Some support the Tripoli government and the others support the Benghazi government. And when there are many power players, because of the interest in Libya, because of it being natural resources rich, because of course controlling most of the North Africa, all these international players have come into the picture. So let's talk about it. Libya has been split into two governments. First is the Tripoli government, which is headed by Prime Minister Abdul Hamid Debaiba, sorry. And then there is from Benghazi Osama Hamad. Osama Hamad is also backed by another very important military leader, that is the Khalifa Haftar. And Haftar, because of him supporting this particular government, the eastern regions have not been developed. Even the port city of Derna that we are talking about, the Khalifa Haftar, they look at this particular government, looks at the population with suspicion. So they do not invest a lot in infrastructure. So the governments, neither the Tripoli government nor the Benghazi government, they were ready for this kind of flood or deluge. And 2020 was a time as recent as that, as recent as this time, there was an all-out war that was going on in Libya. Haftar's forces besieged Tripoli in a year-long failed military campaign, and many people were killed. Planned elections were there in 2021, which were never held. In 2022, former Eastern leader Fatih Bastaga tried to seat his government in Tripoli, which failed, of course. So Haftar's forces are supported by Egypt, Russia, Jordan, and the UAE. And West Libya administration, the Tripoli one, is supported by Turkey, Qatar, and Italy. So it's them versus them. How will they coordinate when it comes to dealing with such a big situation? So the different authorities in Libya right now seem to be working together to some extent when it comes to search and rescue. Medical teams have been sent by Turkey, UAE, and the government in Tripoli. Tripoli has also sent it. Then Tripoli has also sent supplies such as medical supplies, body bags to Benghazi, which is more than 180 miles from Derna. Now, after the toppling of the Gaddafi regime in 2011, this port city of Derna, which got developed during the when Italians occupied this region, it became a hub of the extremist activity, specifically Islamist extremist group, and it was continuously bombarded by Egyptian airstrikes. Later, it was besieged by forces which were loyal to Haftar. So this particular region never saw true development, neither infrastructural nor human development. And the city was taken by Haftar's forces in 2019. So not much was done to ensure that in any such sort of issue, Darna could withstand it. So the Darna City Council called for the opening of a maritime passageway right now because there are two issues. First is the logistic issue. Most of the roads are cut off. Help is not being reached there. It is not able to be reached there. And second is, of course, the issues with respect to the rift that is going on in Benghazi and Tripoli. So, United States has said that they would send the emergency fund to relief organizations. France has also announced financial and other aid for the organization. But we are not sure if it is going to reach correctly the people. With respect to medicanes, consider the following statements. These have been known to form within water temperatures of only 15 degrees Celsius. These are most common, beg your pardon for this. These are most common from September to January and they are true hurricanes. So how many of the above is or are correct? Answer this. I will take your names in the upcoming class, but let me take the names of those students who have answered the last question correctly. So Muhammad Sahil has answered it correctly. I talked about the Duran line, right? Kushal has answered it correctly. Simran, Rasmita. Thank you so much for answering the last question correctly. Answer this one as well. Thank you so much.